sirens of the sands are calling souls to their graves, to ride together and make 'em our slaves. So the wind gathered her mates, and the calm of the sea was gone, and the dark clouds gathered where once the light shone, and the cry to the shore carried over the waves. The souls on the ships were now lives to be saved. All hands to the boat, came the cry, join me my friends, to the sands we must fly. So let's
Run her down tightly, run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew. Run her down tightly, run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew.
by one into the boat they leapt, as down the beach they rapidly spread, straight into the mouth of the angry sea, setting a course for the sands to be. And through the tempest's greatest rage, the galley she rode with men so brave, and above the waves and the winds that flew, that carried the cry of the ship and the crew.
Run her down tightly, run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew. Run her down tightly and run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew.
Well, comfort was there in the end, they knew. The sirens' embrace would take her and the crew, and the ship's dying cry, a sound they feared, but coming for them the galleys steered. And there were no questions, they were tasked, souls to be saved, no more could be asked. And the people watched, and the people waited, and the wind and sea were not abated, and the hours began to slowly pass, as all hope had was fading fast. When they saw the galley mount a wave, and with God's grace they prayed to be saved. So let's
run her down tightly, run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew. Run her down tightly and run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew.
Kept a straight and true track, and the sea and the sirens tried to push her back. As they surged once more, the ropes they threw, for the poor souls clinging there with the crew, and frozen bodies grasped the rope, the last line of any hope. And one by one they all escaped, the sands and the sirens' deadly fate. So let's run her down tightly, run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew. Run her down tightly and run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew. Shore they stayed to the storm, and all hearts prayed for the galley's form. All who stood there clung to each other, praying for sons and their mother. And the souls on board were tightly gathered, their run for home was all that mattered. And the prayers carried them towards the shore, and the galley carried them even more, and through the waves and onto the beach. At last they were safe out of the sirens' reach. Run her down tightly, run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew. Run her down tightly, run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew. Boatmen's bravery everybody knew. For the men who'd risked their lives in saving the crew, there was nothing due. But when called to do it again, there was only one cry, so let's run her down tightly and run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew. Run her down tightly and run her down true. We, my brothers, will save the crew.